Hello and welcome to the ICSE 9 Maths tutorial. Today's topic is rational and irrational numbers. Today we are going to learn how to simplify an expression by rationalizing its denominator. Alright, so basically how to rationalize. Then we will be talking about rationalizing factor. Alright. So before we start, we'll be talking about rational numbers, irrational numbers as real numbers. But before I start, actual question how to rationalize the denominator, what is rationalizing factor, it is important to understand what rational numbers are. But when we talk about rational numbers, because when we define rational numbers, we take the help of real numbers. So then it becomes important to understand what real numbers are. Alright, so that means actually we should start from the beginning, natural numbers. So we'll be talking about the set of natural numbers, then the set of integers, then the set of course, positive integers, negative integers, rational numbers, irrational numbers, and then we'll talk about real numbers in brief. And then we'll come to the question, the simplification of the expression by rationalizing the denominator. Alright. तो आज इससे पहले कि शुरू किया जाए, मैं एक शायर ने कोशिश करने पे रोशनी डाली है, how important it is to try to do something. तो कोशिश करना कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है किसी चीज़ के लिए, किसी चीज़ को करने के लिए, अपने मकसद को हासिल करने के लिए, उस पे शायर ने रोशनी डाली है. तो मैं कुछ लाइन्स आपको सुनाना चाहता हूँ. शायर के मुताबिक, किए जाओ कोशिश मेरे दोस्तों, किए जाओ कोशिश मेरे दोस्तों, अगर ताक में तुमने रख दी किताब, ताक मीन्स शेल्फ, अगर ताक में तुमने रख दी किताब तो क्या दोगे कल इम्तिहान में जवाब. इम्तिहान मीन्स एग्जामिनेशन. अगर ताक में तुमने रख दी किताब तो क्या दोगे कल इम्तिहान में जवाब. न पढ़ने से बेहतर है पढ़ना जनाब, कि हो जाओगे एक दिन कामयाब. किए जाओ कोशिश मेरे दोस्तों, किए जाओ कोशिश मेरे दोस्तों. इन चंद लाइन्स के साथ अब हम वी आर गोइंग टू एक्चुअली स्टार्ट this lesson, today's lesson. We are going to begin. Again, beginning is very important. So you begin. Beginning is important. The beginning is the most important part of the work. The great philosopher Plato has said. I'm repeating. Plato says the beginning is the most important part of the work. So beginning is important. So let's begin. Let's begin, let's start, let's try to understand the chapter, the concept, the terms, the definitions. So the first thing is the set of natural numbers. Then I'm writing in order. So what are natural numbers? Natural numbers. The symbol is capital N, standard symbol. Capital N is the set of natural numbers. And what are they? What are the natural numbers? The natural numbers are 1, 2, 3, and so on. They are natural numbers, the counting numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. This is the set of natural numbers. N stands for natural numbers, and capital N is the symbol to represent the set of natural numbers. Okay, should I write down natural numbers? You please write down. N stands for natural numbers, the set of natural numbers. Alright, and then we talk about W, whole numbers. W stands for whole numbers. We include 0 in the set of natural numbers. So what do we get then? We get 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Now this set we call the set of whole numbers, W, the set of whole numbers. After that we talk about Z or I. Either you write Z or you write I, capital I. Z or I. Z or I. Z stands for, we represent the set of integers with the help of this letter, capital Z or capital I. And what are they? So have a look. We start from 0, 0, then plus 1, plus 2, then minus 1, minus 2. Alright, it goes like this: minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, and so on, and this side plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, and so on. This set is called the set of integers. This is called the set of integers. Z or capital I, both are standard symbols. You use either capital Z or you use capital I. So when you write capital Z, that means we are talking about the set of integers, which means 0, plus 1, plus 2, and so on, minus 1, minus 2, and so on. Some people write like this also. See here, look at it. Some people write like this also. 0, alright, then plus minus 1, plus minus 2, and so on. 0 plus minus 1 plus minus 2 plus minus 3 and so on. Right. Now, the important thing is here, please understand mathematics, the concept. Rationalizing the denominator, which is the main question, is not difficult if we understand all these things, the basics, the concept. See, plus 1, plus 2, plus 3 and so on. We call them the set of positive integers. We write this, we call them the set of positive integers, and we write Z plus. We represent by Z plus. And minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 and so on, we call them the set of negative integers, and we write Z minus. Alright, Z plus and Z minus. Alright, then what about 0? Because we are including 0 neither in Z plus nor in Z minus. That means 0 is neither a positive integer nor a negative integer. Okay, because see, 0 is in the middle. From plus 1, plus 2 and so on, Z plus, the set of positive integers. From minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 and so on, the set of negative integers. 0 is neither in Z plus nor in Z minus. That means 0 is neither a positive integer nor a negative integer. A very important thing, please remember. Alright, so NZ. Now we come to rational numbers, which is the main thing, right, which we are going to study, rational numbers. So now let's understand what rational numbers are. The definition I am giving you first. First understand rational number. We don't understand rational number and we are going to rationalize it. It's not fair. First let's understand what rational numbers are. So, and the symbol is capital Q. capital Q. Capital Q. Q is the set of rational numbers, alright, which is of the form A upon B. Q is the set of all A upon B in such a way that A and B both are integers and B is not equal to 0. This is the definition of rational numbers, right? So A upon B is said to be a rational number. A upon B is said to be a rational number if A and B, A, B both are integers. They belong to the set of integers. But B should not be equal to 0. B should not be equal to 0 because when we talk about Z, so that includes 0 also. 0 is an integer. It is, see, it is neither a positive integer nor a negative integer, but it is an integer. Alright. So now can you give me an example? Can you give me an example? Suppose if I'm writing, suppose 4 upon 7. Is this a rational number? Tell me. Is this a rational number? Let us check. There are two conditions. There are two conditions. One, A and B. That means 4 and 7 both should belong to the set of integers, and the denominator B, in our case 7. I mean here you should not have 0. Alright. Now let's talk about 4. Is 4 an integer? Yes. That means A is an integer, so 4 is an integer. This means belongs to. A belongs to Z. How we read it. This is important, but though this is a very small thing, but it is very important. How to read it. A belongs to Z, or A is an element of Z. B belongs to Z, or B is an element of Z. Alright. Now tell me, if I tell you that 4 belongs to Z, is it right? Yes, it is right. 4 is an integer. You saw 4 is an integer. 1, 2, 3 to the right side. Plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4 and so on. So 4 is an integer. So 4, that means in place of A we have 4. So 4 belongs to Z. That means A belongs to Z. The condition is satisfied. Now 7 belongs to Z. That means B belongs to Z. The condition is satisfied. So both the conditions are satisfied. Now one more thing. What is there in the denominator? In the denominator we have B, and B should not be 0. So in the denominator we have 7. 7 is not 0. It's a non-zero number. That means all the conditions are satisfied. So 4 upon 7 is a rational number. Is that fine? Alright. I hope you understood. 4 upon 7 is a rational number. And then what about minus 4 upon 7? Tell me. What about minus 4 upon 7? This is also a rational number because see, minus 4 which is in place of A. So A is minus 4 and minus 4 belongs to Z. We are not saying Z plus, we are saying Z, the set of integers. Please be clear. So minus 4 is an integer. That means A belongs to Z, the condition is satisfied. 7, as we discussed earlier, yes, of course, 7, B, in place of B we have 7. So 7 is an integer, 7 is an element of Z, that means B is an element of Z, the conditions are satisfied. So minus 4 upon 7 is a rational number. Don't get confused with the fraction and the rational number. Fractions, some students I have seen, they are confused. They call minus 4 upon 7 also a fraction. A fraction is never negative. So minus 4 upon 7 is not a fraction. Fraction is never negative, my dear friends. So please understand. whenever you get a negative number, negative thing, it cannot be a fraction. So if the teacher is asked, so if somebody is asking you, tell me about, because no, generally I ask this question, I write this and then I ask them like this and then I ask them, tell me, is this a fraction? If it is a fraction, then tell me, is it an improper fraction, mixed fraction, or proper fraction? Then they are confused. Then they talk about proper fraction and improper fraction and all. But there is no question of being proper, improper, or mixed fraction. If it is negative, negative cannot be a fraction. So you should stop there only. You should tell your teacher, the person who is asking the question, because it is negative, so it cannot be a fraction. So there is no question of being proper, improper, or mixed fraction. Is that fine? All right. So that is little thing that I talked about. Fractions. Okay, that's the different issue. So rational numbers you understood. Now the numbers which are not rational numbers are called irrational numbers. Very easy, very simple to understand. You understood what are rational numbers? You understood what are rational numbers? Now the numbers which are not rational numbers are called irrational numbers. So you choose, you select all those rational numbers, recognize the numbers, rational numbers. Now you understood, you know what are the rational numbers. So you recognize, okay, identify, yes, this is the rational number, this is the rational number. This doesn't seem to be rational number, then it will be an irrational number. Like, see, say if I write root 2 you can write down as root 2 upon 1 also, a upon b. Alright, let us check if the conditions are satisfied or not. Root 2, which is in place of a is an element of z, a belongs to z, a is an integer. Now tell me, is root 2 an integer? Yes? No, you see the set of integers. Nowhere we have written root 2, we have written, see the set of integers. We have written 0, plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 2 we have written. We have not written plus root 2. Alright, so that means root 2, which is there in place of a, is not an integer. The very first condition is not satisfied. So that means it is not a rational number. If it is not a rational number, then it is an irrational number. So simple. You don't bother about irrational. You don't think about irrational number. You talk about rational numbers. If you are clear about the rational numbers, so please talk about rational numbers. The numbers which are not rational numbers are called irrational numbers. Alright. Now you are clear with both the rational and irrational numbers. You are clear with both the rational numbers and the irrational numbers. Fine. Alright. Now you bring them together. Both the set of rational numbers and irrational numbers together. That we call the set of real numbers. Real numbers. So real numbers are rational numbers plus irrational numbers. We have one more set of which we call complex numbers. That is going to come in your higher classes, 11th standard, complex numbers. Okay, fine. So are you clear about the irrational numbers? So that means if I write here, suppose I am writing here root 3 plus 1. Tell me about this. Is this a rational number? So you can write down this like this. In place of p you have root 3 plus 1, isn't it? In place of a and b, see, in place of b you have 1. In place of a you have root 3 plus 1. Is root 3 plus 1 an integer? Because a has to be an integer. So is root 3 plus 1 an integer? No, root 3 plus 1 is not an integer. That means this condition is not satisfied. So this is not a rational number. That means root 3 plus 1 is an irrational number. Is that fine? Now you are clear with the rational numbers. See, if I am writing, can you give me one example of irrational number? Alright. Please give me one example of irrational numbers. Irrational numbers. So if I write root 3 minus 1, is this an irrational number? Yeah, this is an irrational number, right? Okay, now let's see one interesting thing. Root 3 minus 1. Root 3 minus 1. And we are multiplying this root 3 minus 1 by root 3 plus 1. Let us see what are we getting. Then we will talk about what we got and other things. So root 3 minus 1 is given. We are multiplying root 3 minus 1 by root 3 plus 1. What shall we get? A minus b and a plus b. You know that formula, a minus b into a plus b is equal to a square minus b square. Don't you know? Yeah, you know from your lower classes, from your 7th standard, 8th standard. The difference of squares. A minus b into a plus b is equal to a square minus b square. So what is there in place of a? In place of a we have root 3. In place of a we have root 3. So a square minus b square is equal to a minus b into a plus b. Now what is the square of root 3? Is it 3? Yes. And what is the square of 1? It is 1. Now 3 minus 1 is giving you 2. What is 2? Is 2 a rational number? Yes. 2 is a rational number. 2 is a rational number. Alright. Now see, root 3 minus 1. When root 3 minus 1 is multiplied by root 3 plus 1, you get a rational number. Alright. When root 3 minus 1, which is an irrational number, is multiplied by root 3 plus 1, you get a rational number. Alright. So this process is called rationalizing. Alright. And root 3 plus 1 is called the rationalizing factor of root 3 minus 1, because when we multiplied by root 3 plus 1 to this, when root 3 minus 1 is multiplied by root 3 plus 1, we are getting a rational number. So this is called the rationalizing factor, RF. This is called the rationalizing factor, RF. So RF, rationalizing factor. Alright. So root 3 plus 1 is the rationalizing factor of root 3 minus 1. Similarly, root 3 minus 1 is also a rationalizing factor. Root 3 minus 1 is the rationalizing factor of root 3 plus 1, because when you multiply root 3 plus 1 by root 3 minus 1, then again you are getting a rational number. So each of the numbers, right, is called the rationalizing factor of the other one. So the rationalizing factor of root 3 minus 1 is root 3 plus 1, and the rationalizing factor of root 3 plus 1 is root 3 minus 1. Alright, because when you are multiplying by this to this, you are getting a rational number. When you are multiplying by this to this number, you are getting a rational number. Alright, so that is how we decide what rationalizing factor is. Alright, so tell me, what will be the rationalizing factor of root 5 plus root 2? Suppose I hope now rationalizing factor is clear. So similarly, suppose you have root 5 minus root 2. Chalo. So what is the rationalizing factor? Let us check. Root 5 plus root 2. Let us multiply. Let us multiply by root 5 plus root 2. So a minus b into a plus b is a square minus b square, isn't it? This gives you 5 and this gives you how much? This gives you 5, this gives you 4. That means ultimately you are getting 3, a rational number. That means root 5 plus root 2 is the rationalizing factor of root 5 minus root 2, or root 5 minus root 2 is the rationalizing factor of root 5 plus root 2, because when you multiply this by this, you are getting a rational number, or when you are multiplying this by this, you are getting a rational. So each of the numbers each of the irrational number is called the rationalizing factor of the other. Each of the irrational number is called the rationalizing factor of the other. So the rationalizing factor of this is this. Similarly, the rationalizing factor of this is this, because when you are multiplying the two, you are getting a rational number, and this process is called rationalization. So now finally, our main question, how to simplify an expression by rationalizing the denominator, comes. Alright, so there are many questions. One simple question today I am taking, and let's see if we can continue this chapter next time. Let me see. First example, suppose there is a question. Rationalize the denominator 5 upon 2 minus root 3. 5 upon 2 minus root 3. Question number 1. Rationalize the denominator 5 upon 2 minus root 3. You have to rationalize the denominator. One more thing I would like to tell you. Similarly, because you saw that the rationalizing factor of root 2 plus 1 is root 2 minus 1. The rationalizing factor of root 5 minus root 2 is root 5 plus root 2. So you get a similarity. Alright. So on the basis of that, you can say that the rationalizing factor of root a plus 1 is root a minus 1. Or the rationalizing factor of root a plus root b is root a minus root b. Root a minus root b. Like that. Are you getting? The rationalizing factor of root a plus 1 is root a minus 1. Or the rationalizing factor of root a minus 1 is root a plus 1. Or the rationalizing factor of root a plus root b is root a minus root b. On the basis of similarity. Alright. So 5 upon 2 minus root 3, we are going to rationalize the denominator. What will be the rationalizing factor? Of course, a minus b. So the rationalizing factor will be a plus b. So you multiply 5 upon 2 minus root 3, and you are multiplying by 2 plus root 3 upon 2 plus, and this you can do. You are multiplying both numerator and denominator. So the value of the expression remains unchanged, because you are not only multiplying the denominator, which we want it. So you are not only multiplying the denominator but also the numerator. So the value of the expression remains unchanged. At the same time, what we wanted, we got. Now this gives you 5, 2 plus root 3 and whole divided by a minus b into a plus b, which is a square minus b square. The formula is a plus b into a minus b is a square minus b square. Alright, got it? Now this we can write down. If you take this 5 inside, 5 2s are 10. 5 root 3 whole divided by 2 2s are 4. 4 and minus 3. So this gives you 5 root 3 whole divided by 1 we don't write. Alright, so in the denominator there is 1. In that means we rationalize the denominator, because if there had been 2, we would have left it like that only, 10 minus 5 root 3 upon 2 or 7, whatever. But because it is 1, so we don't write it. We rationalize the denominator. Now the denominator is 1, a rational number. Alright, so that is how we rationalize the denominator. We simplify the expression. This was a very simple expression. So in my next lecture, in this continuation, we will be solving some difficult expressions. We will also be finding out the values of a and b in the expression. They'll give you both sides together. I'll tell you in my next lecture how to find out the values of unknown a and b, or x and y, or p and q. Alright, okay then. Before we wind up, let me tell you one joke. a very small joke. After the class, at the end of the class, it's a joke, not reality. All right, take it as a joke. At the end of the class, when the teacher asks the small group of students, अच्छा बताओ भाई, कुछ पूछना है तो पूछ लो. टीचर ने बोला, क्लास खत्म हो गया. एट द एंड ऑफ द क्लास टीचर ने पूछा कि अरे भाई किसी को कुछ पूछना है तो पूछ लो. तो एक ने क्या पूछा, एक बच्चा पूछता है कि हाँ सर एक सवाल तो है. हाँ बोलो, पूछो, मैं तो यहाँ सवाल का जवाब देने के लिए हूँ. तो बच्चे ने पूछा कि सर आप कौन सा सब्जेक्ट पढ़ा रहे थे. सवाल क्या पूछा बच्चे ने, सर आप कौन सा सब्जेक्ट पढ़ा रहे थे. ओके, थैंक यू सो मच, थैंक्स.